The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with the chittering laughter of a dozen alien species. On the central holographic display, grainy footage showed human soldiers in their standard-issue combat gear bulky, primitive, and laughably outdated compared to the sleek exoskeletons worn by the Chrythani shock troops or the plasma-shielded armor of the Valkyrie warriors. Commander. Emma Reeves stood at parade rest, her jaw clenched as Ambassador Zixther of the Chrythani Dominion gestured dismissively at the screen with one of his four manipulator arms. These ... Humans. Zixther S. Translator rendered his words with barely concealed amusement. You expect us to believe they can contribute to the defense of Outpost Meridian? Look at them. They waddle like hatchlings in their metal shells? Ripples of laughter echoed through the chamber. Even the normally stoic Valkyrie representatives allowed themselves a subtle display of mirth. Brief flicker of their bioluminescent throat sacs, Emma's cum bead crackled. Easy, Commander, came the voice of Captain Jack Morrison from the human delegation's observation booth. Let them laugh. We both know what's coming. She didn't respond, but the corner of her mouth twitched upward, barely perceptible. The Council had summoned Earth's military representatives to discuss the deteriorating situation at Outpost Meridian, a critical way station on the edge of contested space. The Ravager horde had been pushing deeper into Council territory, and intelligence suggested Meridian would be their next target. Every species was expected to contribute forces. Perhaps, Ambassador Zixther continued, his crest feathers bristling with superiority, the humans would be better suited for supply duties? Or perhaps medical support for the real warriors? Emma finally spoke, her voice cutting through the laughter like a laser through butter. With respect, Ambassador Humanity accepts the Council's request. We'll deploy the Ironclad Legion to Meridian. The laughter stopped abruptly. Zixther S. crest flattened, a sign of confusion among his species. Ironclad Legion? I see no mention of this unit in your military database. That's because they're new, Emma replied coolly. Activated 3 months ago. Classified until now. Classified? Zixther S. Translator gave his words an edge of skepticism. More human theatrics. Very well. Send your legion. Try not to embarrass yourselves when the Ravagers arrive. 2 weeks later, the Ravager horde descended on Outpost Meridian like a plague of metal locusts. Thousands of biomechanical warriors, each one a fusion of flesh and weapon, screamed through the void in assault pods that peppered the station's defensive perimeter. The Chrythani shock troops deployed first, their exoskeletons gleaming as they took position along the station's outer corridors. The Valkyrie warriors activated their plasma shields, forming a glowing wall of energy at the main breach points. A dozen other species arranged themselves according to Council battle doctrine. Proven formation that had held against Ravager assaults for decades, and then the humans arrived. The first thing the aliens noticed was the sound. Not the hydraulic hiss of conventional power armor, but something deeper, a resonant thrum that seemed to vibrate through the station's superstructure itself. The deck plates trembled. Zixther watched from the command center as the human transport docked. His four eyes widened as the airlock cycled open. They emerged like titans from ancient myth. Each member of the Ironclad Legion stood 12 feet tall, encased in armor that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The suits weren't the clumsy metal shells he'd seen in the footage. These were something else entirely, sleek, angular, and covered in a flowing nanomaterial that rippled like liquid. Mercury across reinforced alloy plating. Jack Morrison led the first squad, his enhanced frame moving with impossible grace despite its mass. Through his helmet's external speakers, his voice boomed across the combat channel. Ironclad Legion, advance to contact. Show them what human engineering looks like when we stop playing nice. The Legion moved as one, their footfalls synchronized, each step a declaration of intent. Weapon systems deployed from their armor, not the plasma rifles or particle beams favored by other species, but something uniquely human, rail cannons capable of accelerating tungsten slugs to a significant fraction of light speed. combined with close-range plasma cutters that could melt through Ravager carapaces like tissue paper. The first wave of Ravagers hit the Chrythani lines hard. 3 shock troopers went down in the initial exchange, their exoskeletons crumpling under the biomechanical onslaught. Then the Ironclad Legion engaged. What happened next would be analyzed in military academies across the galaxy for generations. Jack's squad didn't just fight the Ravagers, they dominated them. Rail cannon rounds punched through enemy armor with devastating precision, each shot calculated by onboard AI to maximize damage. When Ravagers closed to melee range, the Legion switched tactics seamlessly. Their armors enhanced strength, allowing them to literally tear their opponents apart. Emma commanded the second squad from the station's western corridor, where the Ravager pressure was heaviest. Her tactical display showed Valkyrie positions collapsing, their plasma shields flickering under sustained assault. Legion 2nd, covering fire, she ordered. Give the Valkyrie room to reform. Her squad unleashed a coordinated barrage that created a wall of destruction between the Ravagers and the retreating aliens. The precision was surgical, the firepower overwhelming. In the command center, Zixter stared at the tactical display in stunned silence. The human positions marked in blue weren't just holding, they were advancing. While every other species struggled to maintain their lines, the Ironclad Legion pushed forward, reclaiming corridor after corridor. How? He whispered, his translator barely catching the word. How are they so effective? A human technician nearby, monitoring the Legion's performance data, answered without looking up. Because we learned, Ambassador. Every defeat, every limitation, we studied it, adapted, and built something better. That's what humans do. We endure, we improve, we overcome. The battle for Outpost Meridian lasted 6 brutal hours. When the Ravagers finally retreated, the casualty reports told a story that would reshape galactic military doctrine. Chrythani casualties, 47%; Valkyrie casualties, 39%. Overall Council Forces casualties, 41%. Ironclad Legion casualties, 3%. Jack removed his helmet in the aftermath, his face streaked with sweat but his eyes sharp. Emma approached, her armor's battle damage already being assessed by repair nanits. They're not laughing anymore, she observed, nodding toward the command center where alien commanders stood in shocked silence. Jack grinned. No, now they're asking how many more legions we have. What did you tell them? That we're just getting started. Across the station, in the Galactic Council's emergency session, Ambassador Zixter's voice had lost all traces of mockery. I move that we immediately integrate human tactical doctrine into our defensive strategies and ... I formally apologize for my earlier assessment. The motion passed unanimously. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not with words, but with iron forged in the crucible of adversity, tempered by determination, and wielded with the precision that only a species that refused to accept defeat could achieve. They had jeered at the human troops. They would never make that mistake again.